Yesterday's conspiracy theories, tomorrow's headlines. Most are still asleep and I ain't talking about no bedtime. The truth is not a Google search, you need to get your head right. The Greek goddess of illusion was called Media I'm not a coincidence theorist, I look for thread lines. Smashing every deadline, no longer smashing red wine. Though I can hear the bells chime, it feels like the end times. That probably should have been smashed on red wine. But the carnal mind is foolish, obey and end up ghoulish. Don't get used by instinct, take control and learn to use it. Make a load of earnest music, earn a few quid, learn a few tricks. Sure, the truth is persecuted, this whole world is pure abusive. Know a bit about everything and everything about nothing. Figured out my noggin while you picture out shopping. You sit about watching while I dish it out, stop it. I don't mean to sound cocky, I'm not even proud of it. It's a second itch to me just to be this out honest. I don't even need to sound honest, never been about profit. Everything but out on it, you can bet your house on it. Doubt I'll be out for the count when the sounds and I'm down for the beat, no beat down. I mean, how long's it been? Help me out. I've been the only one who's held me down. All in the mind, hell freeze now. Still sick with it, healthy how? Few bars down and the world freaked out. I don't reach out, I seek out to speak out. I'ma recount the reasons they beat out.
Look at Randy Orton slithering.
Watch out, watch out, watch out, watch out! KO! Here's the cover, hook to the line, and the Legend Killer picks up the victory.
Look at Randy Orton.
Yo. Hope you guys have enjoyed tonight. Hope you guys have enjoyed today. Wherever you guys are in this wonderful planet, I just want you to know that life is up to you. The world can distract us all it likes, but the world doesn't have anything to do with our mind or our heart, man. It's all in you. We make our day. Yes, happiness, strength, love, wisdom. That's what we make. Every breath we take, we can choose. See, we're not enslaved. We're not in chains. We might be trapped by a system, trapped by our environment, but we're not enslaved. We have power. We got to use it. Because right now, guys, we see what's happening in this world. We see that everything around us is just pressure, like a boiling hot pot. Everyone's like a crab in a hot pot, just trying to get out, trying to tear each other down. But that ain't what we do here in the 595 Pounds podcast. We bring each other up, raise each other up, and man, I just want you to know I believe in every single one of you out there, my family, my friends, all my listeners. You guys can change your life by changing your mindset. And thank you guys for being here. Like, subscribe, and share. Tell everybody around that this is going down. This is the highest podcast in Washington State, man. We stay blessed around here. What we got tonight? We got Afroman winning. Dub. It ain't just for the West Coast, man. I'm throwing it up for the dub. Straight up, man. Afroman went through a lot over the last few years. But when Afroman walked through the white land, houses went up for sale. Yo, the next up, we got some AI actors in the business. This shit's real. A UFO cover up from Australia and more. So let's get to it, guys. Ooh, wrong article. Yeah, man. I'll be real. This AI actor business, that's not. I do not see any good in even hiring this AI actor. We'll get to that later. Boom. Afroman wins verdict. Yeah, man. So for the last few years, Afroman has been in some trouble by sheriffs or police officers raiding his home. Unrightfully, of course. They just didn't do their research. You know, the white man, they never do their research. Well, they busted down his door, pulled guns on him, embarrassed him in front of his family, in front of his kids, started a whole bunch of drama and nonsense that they didn't need to. Well, it goes in the raid that they turn off his freaking cameras. Like they really just turn off his cameras. Can you even believe that? So the sheriffs go in there. They see that Afroman is cameraed up and get everything right. He's protected, but then they turn it off. Well, they take some money. They take some money and like they try to steal it. Afroman probably has records of everything else that they took. There's also video of one of the sheriffs eating his lemon pound cake. Well, there's just a whole bunch of little details to it, right? So Afroman gets the video footage that he has in his house, and he makes a music video. He makes a music video just making fun of all of these sheriffs, all these police officers for being stupid, being dumb, for thinking that they're above the law, that they're just like hot shit, right? When they ain't shit, right? Well, Afroman starts getting attention with these music videos, starts blowing up. He starts getting more popular and more popular and more popular and more popular. And these police officers and sheriffs try suing him for his music videos of his own home recordings when they wrongfully raided him. So, man, it's amazing. Afroman won a jury verdict today, March 18th, clearing him of any wrongdoing in a lawsuit filed by 7 Ohio police officers who claimed the rapper defamed them by releasing music videos that mocked them. The verdict came in an unusual lawsuit filed by the members of an Ohio County Sheriff's Department. So the sheriffs were like, this is caused tremendous pain on me and my family and me and my wife, and you said you fucked my wife. And in the courtroom, guys, this is not a joke. In the courtroom, there's a video of the sheriff getting asked by the judge, well, is it true? Do you know if he fucked your wife? And the sheriff looks so defeated. I don't know. Oh, dude, this is golden. All right, Afroman is like forever a legend on top of legends. He was forever a legend already. Like because I got high, Palmdale, all of his hits for the stoner community. But now it's like he's a certified forever. Like he went against the system, beat the system, still getting high. The case claimed the videos were false and caused the officers severe emotional distress. But Afroman, known for his 2000 hit Because I Got High, testified at trial that he had a First Amendment right to mock the officers, particularly after they smashed down his front door for ultimately no reason. All of this is their fault, and they had the audacity to sue me, said Afroman. After just hours of deliberation on Wednesday, the jury sided entirely with Afroman, clearing him of liability for defamation or invasion of privacy. In all circumstances, the jury finds in favor of the defendant. Oh, man. Afroman briefly bowed his head, but otherwise showed no emotion. So, Afroman's social media account and his YouTube, his TikTok, all of his Instagram, everything has blown up where he's getting more and more and more followers. And it's just like totally blowing up in these sheriff's faces. They want to get him down and dirty and shut him up. So I follow Afroman on Instagram, right? And I see his stories and I see his journey. And this guy, he's over there in the South making a ball, tours with backstage groupies. So he's taking all these pics and getting all these young women to get high with him, flash. And I don't think these these sheriffs and cops like that, because that's some of their daughters and their nieces and their cousins and their wives. And like I mean, I swear, like Afroman is with women every day from like a lot of different women, just because he's on tour and just because he's the hot shit. And like he's truly a hot shit, you know what I mean? Like, and not no fake. he's He's awesome right here. The outcome is a major win for Afroman, who would have faced a whopping nearly $4 million in damages. Holy shit! So instead, he just gets to walk away. In a video for a song called Lemon Pound Cake, he ridiculed one deputy for allegedly apparently eyeing the cake on his counter. In another social media post, he includes images of Officer Lisa Phillips alongside graphic statements about her anatomy and sexuality. Oh yeah, so Lickin' Lisa, he made a music video about this sheriff, how she's a lesbian, and she it's I just heard it today. It's by far the funniest shit ever. Yo, he clowns them, man. It is the best. I'll be real. It is the best. We needed some good news here in America this year, and this is it. This won the news for the year. Oh man. He's Afroman's like, I got freedom of speech after they run around my house with guns and kick down my door. I got a right to kick a can in my backyard and use my freedom of speech and turn my bad times into a good times. Yes, I do. And I think I'm a sport for doing so because I don't go to their house, kick down their doors, and try to play the victim and sue them, he told the jurors. And so when the judge asked why Afroman came to the sheriff's station with TV and news crews to get his money back, Afroman said, I didn't want to get beat up or Epstein at the office after I seen them run around my house with AR-15s, pretty much to protect his health. And, if in case they ever try to like bully him, beat him up and, kill him or anything, the news was right there with him. And the judge was real adamant on making sure that that's something that needed to be done. He's like, hey, like, so you went over there to protect yourself just in case anything went wrong. And so the judge was on his side too. Honestly, yeah. And, one of the other points was that Afroman was like, "Hey, man, as a man, they came over there and took my money, my hard working money. How would you like it if they went over there and took your hard working money, just robbed you and stole you, and then try to lie about you and sue you?" And the judge and the jurors kind of like heard that type of point, and they're like, "Yeah, you know what? um, yeah, Afroman is a real one. We love that. We love that right here, man. Everybody who smokes weed, we love that." Next up, guys, Trip Out. We're talking about AI actors. AI actors in the business right and now. Look at this. So, Val Kilmer, who died last December, was too sick to actually shoot any scenes after being cast in the movie As Deep as the Grave. What a coincidence, huh? Variety reports that Val Kilmer's estate has agreed to let an AI generated facet smile of the actor appear in the movie. So, what are the odds? He was the actor I wanted to play this role, says the film writer and director. It was very much designed around him. It drew on his Native American heritage and his ties to and love of the Southwest. I was looking at a call sheet the other day and we had him ready to shoot. He was just going through a really, really, really tough time medically and he couldn't do it. His family kept saying how important they thought the movie was, and Val really wanted to be a part of this. He really thought it was an important story that he wanted his name on. It was that support that gave me the confidence to say, okay, let's do this, despite the fact that some people might call it controversial. This is what Val wanted. As Deep as the Grave, which was previously titled Canyon of the Dead, is the true story of the Southwestern archaeologist Ann and Earl Morris, chronicling their expeditions at Caño de Chelly, Arizona, in their effort to trace the history of the Navajo people. Abigail Lowry stars opposite of Tom Felton with a cast that includes Wes Studi and Abigail Breslin. Kilmer, or the AI generated of Kilmer, will appear as a significant part of the finished film. The project uses both younger images of Kilmer, many of them provided by his family, and footage from his final years to show his character in various stages of his life. The audio also utilizes Kilmer's voice, which in his later life was damaged by a tracheal procedure. The character in the film also suffers from tuberculosis. Again, this historical character mirrored Val's actual condition when he was suffering from throat cancer. Wow. And so, when it comes to the voice, this is a really unique opportunity for the character to reflect the condition that the actor was actually suffering in. We really figured out that this is a major missing element. Normally, we would just recast an actor. I'm all about working with our actors, and we have brilliant performances all throughout the movies, but we can't roll camera again. We don't have the budget. We're not a big studio film, so we have to think of innovative ways to do it, and the technology is here. I just think that it's such an odd coincidence that the title of the movie is As Deep as the Grave or Canyon of the Dead, and it's going to feature the first like A-list celebrity actor in a movie as AI because they're dead in the grave. So I just find that a very odd coincidence. But hey, maybe just it was meant to be this way, I guess, the universe, since people do like to call it the meta. Technology is the meta. The meta would mean the dead. This is spirit technology, dead technology, light technology, life technology. Next up, guys, this is strange times we're living in. There is more AI business. So people are up in arms right now because, well, NVIDIA DLSS 5 came out with an AI-powered breakthrough that is upscaling images with real-life filters on characters. So let's go ahead and watch this video so you guys can go ahead and get a viewpoint of this for all my viewers who are watching.
This is the Westall case. I want to share the screen again. You can see right where we're talking about, right by Melbourne, Australia.
Melbourne.
I don't quite say it the true Aussie way. It's true.
I spent a long time
Melbourne,
there. So.
Melbourne is how they like to say it. And I'm sure I'm not getting it quite right. Love the Aussies. Some of the nicest, most just genuine people like you
Most
ever meet.
hospitable,
Yeah, totally.
wonderful people.
If you can't get along with anyone from Australia, then there's something wrong with you. Like, seriously.
Yeah.
So anyway, this is where the Westall School was, just outside Melbourne in a place called Clayton. And this is now April 6th, 1966. So about a year, almost a year after the Maurice Mas incident in France. So this is an incredible case because you've got about 200 students and teachers who see an object. Here's a nice picture. Look at these kids. Like, this is some of the kids in the school. Like, they're not little children that you can just say, oh, you don't know what you saw. These are very sharp looking kids, in my opinion. They're in their, different ages, but many of them are in their teens.
This is a high school. Right. This is a high school. So they're a little bit older than, say, the Zimbabwe case.
That's right, from 1994,
Mm-hmm.
who are much, much younger.
Which was another school case.
So we don't really have an explanation. This is almost, it's more than 50 years later now, and there's no explanation as to what happened. You've got a lot of evidence, a lot of testimony. It's not all exactly the same testimony, but it's close enough that you clearly know something important happened. And I'm just going to jump ahead here and say the Australian government has given basically nothing on this case. The Australian military has given nothing on this. And you've got these ridiculous explanations like weather balloon. I'm like, are you serious? We'll get to all of that. So the kids, this is one drawing. There's a couple of really good artists' renditions of this. Basically, the kids have been out. It was like a recess or sporting event, and they're heading back in. I think they were playing cricket.
This was actually 11 in the morning, and it was right before recess. So because there were all these different grades, a lot of them were doing different things. Some of them were in class, and some of them were out on the field, playing cricket, like I assume like a gym class kind of thing. So it happened right before recess, and that's why you get these differing accounts. Some of them were already outside. Some of them were inside the building.
Right. And so they look up and it's like, there's a flying saucer. And then years later, this is what they're all saying. Yeah, we all looked up and we saw like this was a flying saucer. And a lot of these witnesses are like, this was not a weather balloon. I'm adamant this was not a balloon. This is not any aircraft, nothing conventional. One witness, this is typical. He says it was a round silver disc, seemed to be very low over the school. And I remember kids screaming and running. Some were running toward it and some were running inside. And there were teachers inside and outside who also saw this thing. So now, did you read this whole thing? There's the initial disc, whatever this thing was seen, and then witnesses saw a collection of smaller objects circling around it or following it, about 5 of them.
Some people described it as sort of one main saucer and then these 5 smaller craft that were buzzing around it, Right. That's how I heard it described over and over.
This drawing has like birds, but this isn't really quite what we're talking about here. Let me move on to the next image. Then some witnesses saw multiple objects, didn't they?
That's right. Some of them saw 3 craft.
Right.
Some of them said they saw 1 craft. But again, I think this is because people were in different areas. I mean, there could be other reasons too, but there are different accounts. And I think that's what you expect when you get a lot of people reporting it, and some are looking out of windows and some are,
So what we do know what happened, I don't know what happened to the 5 objects that were around it. They seem to be gone after a brief period of time, it seems to me. At least one object, maybe more than one object, goes toward, and they have a nearby area they all called the Grange. It was like a pasture. And some of the kids ran off after at least one of these objects that either landed or appeared to land. Let's see what images I have here. And these are some descriptions that people have given of the object. There was one girl named Tanya.
That was drawn by a witness,
Do you want to talk about Tanya?
Yeah. Well, Tanya was apparently the first to reach the site. There were a group of 3 girls, as I understand it, that ran out. Now, I was listening to the account of one of them.
Was that Jacqueline?
This was actually Terry Peck.
Okay.
Okay. Right. So she runs out with Tanya and another girl. The other 2 girls get ahead of her. And she said Tanya was, one of them was hysterical and one of them fainted. So it was Tanya who was hysterical. Now, there was another girl there named, I think it was Jackie.
Yeah.
And she wasn't quite at this area yet. She said Tanya came running out of the Grange towards her, screaming. So instead of pursuing and going to the craft, she ran back to the school with Tanya.
Okay.
Tanya.
There were some claims that Tanya had touched the craft.
I don't know about that, but Tanya got taken away in an ambulance. Right. And this part of the story comes up later. It gets really interesting.
This is Jackie Argent was her name, is the friend's name, Jacqueline Argent.
Yes.
because years
that's
later
right.
she talked quite a lot about this. In fact, I know I've got a picture of her. Oh, here's some more images. So you can just see, according to the descriptions, we're not talking a huge craft here. That's the size of a adult man. And let's see what else we've got here. I don't know who drew this to craft. But
There was a gentleman, I don't know his name. He was a young boy at the time, and he said he saw 2 crafts.
okay, so that's
And
his
he was
description then.
super close to them. He said there was heat coming off them, but he witnessed the 2 side by side like this.
So you want to go back to Tanya, though? What happened with her? She gets taken off
So
in an
Tanya
ambulance.
gets taken away in the ambulance, and nobody ever sees her again.
And her friend
Okay.
Jacqueline tried to visit her.
Her friend, tries to visit her the next day, goes to the house where she's always gone to visit her,
Right.
and there's someone there who is not Tanya's mother, because
Right.
Tanya's mother did not speak English. This person spoke English and said Tanya never lived here.
This is Jacqueline Argent in a documentary many years later.
That's right.
As an adult. She had a lot to say. She's a really good witness to this case.
She is.
There are other good ones as well, but I really like listening to her. You can find documentaries and information interviews with her out there on YouTube and on the web.
She's in a documentary called Westall 66, a suburban UFO mystery.
Yeah, and this is from that
People want to check it
documentary,
out.
I believe.
Yeah.
So
But-
one of the things, well, can I just say one
Yeah.
thing she says is like, after the object or objects left, the school principal calls an emergency assembly of the whole school and all
That's
the
right.
faculty. And this is what he says: what you saw wasn't real, it didn't happen, and no one ever should talk about this ever again.
And if you do, you're going to get in trouble.
And there were men in suits. No one knew who these guys were. They were apparently government officials, military, who knows. And they are talking to the children, and they're saying, what you saw was nothing but an experimental craft. And by the way, don't ever talk about this again. Jacqueline Argent talks about this. In fact, I got a quote from her in here. I'm just going to show it. So she talks about it. She says, I was called down to the headmaster's office. There were 2 well-dressed men in suits. They were introduced to me in person, and I don't know where they came from. And I just love hearing her talk. She says, we went into, oh, I suppose you think you saw a flying saucer. I said, well, I didn't say that. I said I saw an object. And we suppose you saw little green men. So she's, talking about how they're essentially just dismissing her. This is a newspaper article. This is one of the only documentary sources of the case.
I just want to add that she
Yeah.
actually claims that they were quite bullied by these mysterious men that were coming to the school.
I think she said she burst into tears after she
Mhm.
left the meeting. Like, they were really
Mm-hmm.
heavy-handed, these guys.
Mm-hmm.
There are no Australian government records of this event. People can only work off the newspaper. Even though the principal said no one talks about this, journalists did get wind of it, and they did do an investigation. But the impression you get from this is like, because there was this heavy-handed silence that came down right away on this case,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of good information didn't come out.
Yeah,
right away.
unfortunately, I think the school really shut that down.
Yeah.
But it did get some media attention because it was on the front page of the local paper, and it ran for a couple of weeks. And they also had a Channel 9, I guess, in their area, TV news spot on this. And some of the kids were actually interviewed for that. And excuse me, they got in trouble for it. They actually got detention. Joy Clark is one of those people who claims that she got detention for speaking to them,
Yeah, it's
So
amazing. That 1966 in Australia, I guess they felt they could do that. This was on the weather balloon explanation, actually was put out there when it was reported. People were told that a weather balloon had been released earlier that morning. You've got only the most dense or obstinate government spokespeople, in my opinion, could possibly believe the weather balloon explanation. And yet, even recently, Australian TV put out a little piece on this when the documentary came out. And they bring out this talking head who says, oh, yes, weather balloons can really surprise people. I'm like, this is 2010,
yeah.
buddy, and you're still actually
Yeah.
trying this out.
Well, they
You've got to be kidding.
they on the anniversary of this, 60 years later, I believe, they asked these kids, because they're adults now, and they said, what do you think of the whole weather balloon thing? And they all said, I mean, that's crazy. I know what I saw.
Right.
I know what I saw. All of them are, sticking to their story. It was
The principal years later says, this is a direct quote, I was prepped to tell the students that what they had seen didn't exist. Here's another witness. It was not an aircraft by any stretch of the imagination, and it certainly was not a weather balloon. When the local Melbourne News wanted to cover this years later, they looked through the archives and they found all the original video of the event was missing.
That's right.
It's like, where did that go? This is Paul Smith. He was one of the witnesses. He says, I looked up and I was facing the object in the sky, and he thought someone figured out how to project an image into the sky. He says, this is just too crazy. It was like too good of a flying saucer. This could not be real. And he said, after a while, trucks turned up, looked like army trucks. And there was one of the teachers had said that a man in a dark blue suit demanded all photos taken.
That's right. There was a woman in particular, I think she was a chemistry teacher there, and she had taken a whole bunch of pictures. And, as soon as this happened, she just grabbed her camera and just took tons of photos. And yeah, they did. They confiscated not only the pictures, but the cameras.
Yeah, I mean, just incredible stuff. And yet this is all from what? A weather balloon. You've got to be kidding me.
Right.
Even years later, the Australian government was moving toward the position of saying, or at least some military spokesperson anyway was saying, well, maybe, there's all kinds of secrets and there's experimental craft. But what could this be 50 years later? Like that they're still going to deny. One teacher was named Andrew Greenwood. He actually said that 2 officers came to his home and threatened him under the Official Secrets Act and said, you couldn't have seen a flying saucer at West because, well, there's no such thing as flying saucers. And if you talk about this, we will tell everyone that you're an alcoholic. Guy was not an alcoholic.
Wow.
These are some more of the witnesses, by the way. These are just very, very good
witnesses.
Man, they threatened to smear him. They're like, yo, we're going to say you're a drunk if you ever talk about that. That's wild. But this has happened all around the world, I guess, like in different instances, not just kids, not just schools, but in UFOs and aliens or these other dimensional creatures or whatever the fuck have been seen, and government officials have came in and tried clearing things up in some cases, and in some cases not, I guess, depending if the group was large enough, or if it's an individual, then sometimes they just kind of let that thing unravel, I guess you would say. But like in the big large groups like this, too many people are talking, too many people are like, yo, I know what I saw, and so wow. But to like make kids shut up, damn, man. Hey, these kids better be paid for the rest of their life, right? I mean, why? How? I don't know. Would you expect the government to pay these kids? Probably not. So they're probably not paid. But just thinking about it kind of sucks. Oh, we're going forward now. Let's go. Let's get down. So we're heading over to Twitter just for some casual news. I'm breaking it down, guys. So have you guys heard about Victor Schauberger? This is from Shane Truth Vibes. Victor Schauberger was a water researcher. Well, he's a researcher, just from the back in the day, 1800s, mid 1800s to early 1900s, and he would talk a lot about how water was sacred and it was living. Even other ancient cultures reference how water is a consciousness, life force. There's more to it than just dead water, clean water, dirty water. I mean, dead water would be like sink, sink water where you put it in the cup. It just looks nasty.
Okay, we have to talk about water, Victor Schauberger, and copper, because you're not going to believe this. They found out that copper in the 1960s, every single house in America, North America probably, was using copper for their piping in their home. Around the same time that they started putting fluoride in the water, they changed the building code to use PVC pipes instead of copper pipes. Why? Well, it's said that copper actually neutralizes some percentage of fluoride. Many people think maybe they wanted us getting the full dose of fluoride. But Victor Schauberger was a prisoner of war, or he was in some camp in World War I, and he was near Tartaria. This is his own words. And he found that they had copper in their gardens in the streams that they watered the plants with. Water flowed through copper and was said to increase the yield and growth rate of the plants massively from the Tartarians. And then we have people who are doing electroculture, which is when you jam a copper rod in the ground in your garden, and it is said to harvest etheric energy from the atmosphere and put it into the ground and increase the yield and growth rate of your plants.
So just for everybody out there, the electroculture method, I actually do practice. So what I do is, yes, I buy copper from the general store, general hardware store, where they sell thin copper wires. You know, they usually sell them by the spool, so you gotta tell them how long of copper wire you want. So I chose about like 3-foot copper rods, and you can make them longer, shorter, whatever, heck. So what I did, and this is what electroculture is called, is you get a grounding stick, so metal or wood, or stone, a natural element, and you wrap the copper rod around it, and you stick the grounding stick in dirt where you want your vegetables, fruit, or plant vegetation to grow. You stick the end of the copper spun rod also in the ground. So the stick and the copper rod are going, and the stick and the end of the copper rod, go into the ground. So don't have the copper rod spun too tightly where you can't stick the end of it in the ground. It's probably spin it at like a 45-degree angle going upward, and that will create an electrical charge. So the copper will pull electricity from the air. The grounding charge, which will be the stick, the stone, the metal rod that you have the copper around, will be the ground. So the copper is pulling electricity from the air, going into the grounding charge, and going down into the soil. And everything that is in the soil, everything that is in the ground and dirt around, is going to be electrically supercharged. And I've done this over the last year or two in my own garden, and I have witnessed that the roots grow stronger because they're getting more electricity. So when you water them, they also can get juiced up. And I've been talking about this specific thing with one of my sponsors over at boomerboost.com. One of their products is a heirloom barley blend that is actually grown in a ionic supercharged field. So just like we can like destroy things with electricity, we can actually amplify things with electricity. Proof is how when someone's near dying and you put the little fucking electric pulse charges, the little whatever they're called, defibrillators, on someone, it can bring them back to life. Why? Because it gives them an electrical charge and it brings them to life because their electrical charge is dead. Well, what this electroculture does with the copper rod and these grounding sticks is that it re-electrifies things and gets them electrically charged up to a stronger charge. Because most of the time, soils and just plant life just doesn't get doesn't get the electricity that it always used to because of like the 5G towers or dead soil from pesticides and pollutants or just not properly maintaining. But we can actually electrify our ground, and I have done it myself. I love these bits of information. So if you want to hear it just one more time.
And it is said to harvest etheric energy from the atmosphere and put it into the ground and increase the yield and growth rate of your plants. Let me know your thoughts if you ever heard about copper, because we got to talk more about it.
Yes, you can go buy copper from your general hardware store and get the same benefit. You can actually pour your water in copper cups and use copper utensils like forks and spoons and knives, I guess, to just have better charge in your food and make it look more vibrant and also feel like it's alive. You know what else is alive? Natural products. Unlike what we got these makeup stores.
Looking pretty comes at a cost.
Oh shit! I fast forwarded all the way through the video. I didn't mean to do that. All right, here you go.
Looking pretty comes at a cost. Welcome to the Ulta Beauty Lab, where chemicals become cosmetics. That deep black eyeliner around your eyes, it often comes from carbon black pigment, a material regulators warn can contain contamination linked to cancer risk. Every time you reapply lipstick, you swallow a little of it. Tests have found heavy metals like lead, meaning tiny doses entering your body every single day. Powder foundations release clouds of fine particles, and when that dust fills the air, it doesn't just land on your skin, it goes straight into your lungs. You don't care though, right? Do you see the word fragrance on the label? That one word can hide dozens, sometimes hundreds of undisclosed chemicals. Some aerosol dry shampoos were recalled after testing found benzene contamination, a chemical linked to leukemia sprayed directly on your head and into the air you breathe. Nail polish fumes often come from toluene and formaldehyde derivatives, compounds linked to headaches, irritation, and long-term toxicity concerns. So yeah, beauty isn't always what it looks like.
I know the girls are gonna get mad at that one, but hey, ladies, if you can, just do no makeup or get natural makeup or look for makeup that doesn't have harmful chemicals. Yeah, men don't gotta worry about that shit. Anyways, check this out, man. I don't know if y'all have seen this lately, but NASA confirms, boom, in Ohio was 1,700-pound meteor. So the booms, the shakes, all of that was real. Meteor really did drop. And this wasn't the only one, guys. This, I just don't know. We don't know what's happening, but something is happening. Whether if it's UFOs, meteors, or something in the sky right now, people have warned us. This whole 3i Atlas wasn't a joke. I never thought it was a joke, but I didn't think that it was you know, I don't think that we should be giving money to a certain fucking person to like have him research when we all can see for our own eyes, right? Anyways, NASA confirmed 1,700-pound meteor strikes Ohio, but all across the nation, we are seeing things in the sky. These are 4 different camera angles across 4 different states in America where meteors or things in the sky are going on, like here. This is moving in multiple directions. What is going on, guys? The time is now. The time is here. Is it meteors? Is it aliens? What is going on?
Like, what is that?
NASA confirms 1,700. I'll be honest. I really do think we are going to witness aliens in our time. Did I already cover the Major General that's missing right now? Yeah, that's actually up next. So, I think there's a lot going on with these UFOs and drones and meteors that are here appearing, and there's some majors and there's some people in the physics field that are actually going missing and getting hurt. We're gonna go ahead and cover that here in a second. Now, check this out though. April 3rd, 2026, Bob Lazar is back. Still the most hardcore testimony from a man. New details will emerge, vindicating his work at Area 51. This movie, S4, shows you how the craft flies and takes you inside the facility. Next level. These are the documents. These are the videos created by Bob Lazar himself, the one who was at the facilities himself. You bet this is going to be fire. Let's listen in.
Physical evidence now exists which proves that there is life elsewhere, and at least one form of that life has been here. As of 1989, that evidence was in the custody of the United States government. Between December of 1988 and April of 1989, I worked as a senior staff physicist in what has to be the most secret project in history. My job in this program was to be part of a back engineering team. This particular disc appeared to be in excellent condition, and because of its sleek appearance, I nicknamed it the Sport Model. The goal in this program was to see if the technology of the disc could be duplicated with Earth materials. To start up the reactor, of course, we need some element 115. In fact, you need 223 grams, machined into a wedge like this. The program out at S4 consisted of 3 projects: Project Galileo, Project Sidekick, and Project Looking Glass.
The file on top was Project Galileo, and as it turned out, that's the project that I was part of. And that clearly referred to reverse engineering a recovered alien spacecraft.
Just cannot be a secret from anyone, not just the American people, but the rest of the world.
All this stuff is something that happened to him. It's not who he is.
They're doing everything they can to keep this information secret.
That's empirical evidence. I saw a craft to do that, thanks to him.
Out this story spills. And the world changed.
There are some big moves happening in the UFO field because this is really here. Steven Spielberg has his disclosure day. Bob Lazar has S4. Sci-fi has came to real life. I think the Epstein files have shown that, and what's going on in our skies has solidified it. Now, this next piece of news, it has been revealed that the retired Air Force Major General who disappeared in February shared involvement in the same program as a NASA Jet Propulsion Laboratory engineer who vanished 8 months prior. The individual who linked the two has since passed away. These 3 individuals represented the full chain of custody for a proprietary super alloy essential to the U.S. rocket propulsion systems. Monica Reza was a co-inventor of the material. Dallas Hardwick performed qualification testing on it at Air Force Research Laboratory. During his tenure commanding the Air Force RL base from 2011 to 2013, General William McCaslin oversaw the laboratory that encompassed both their efforts, placed all three on the same program simultaneously. Hardwick succumbed to cancer in 2014. In June 2025, Reza vanished while hiking in the Angeles National Forest, disappearing just 30 feet behind a hiking companion, with thermal imaging scans yielding nothing, and her scent trail abruptly ending at the location of a displaced beanie. McCaslin went missing from the Sandia foothills area in February 2026. Neither has been located. Just 4 days after Reza's disappearance, an online memorial post declared her deceased and buried despite no body ever being recovered. Now, this is it's tough. It's definitely a tough piece of news what we got going on. We're gonna go ahead browse the comments. This is not the only person. Amy Eskridge and her counterpart were also taken out years ago. I believe, like I said, just last year. I think I posted on my podcast. Just last year, there were a few members of the same unit that all disappeared, and they were all working. They were working on like cloning and biology and things like that. And it was in some army unit or it was in some military unit, and it almost seems like when these big time commanders or generals or whoever the fuck is running these black operations or dark operations, whatever, they get their hands on some technology and they're able to actually successfully create it looks like it's bad news for the people and the soldiers who were the grunt men behind it, because most of the time the grunt men just get thrown to the side like bodies, like body bags, and sucks because all these people were doing were following orders and trying to have a new discovery and new technology. But man, sucks. Rest in peace for these fine soldiers out there. Uh, um, because someone's gotta fight the battle, and it seems like they were doing something that was not liked. Now, according to a document in the CERN server, the Hoover Dam holds the key to the fate of the universe. Now, interesting. Did you know that the Hoover Dam has a time projection chamber particle detector inside of it? Ironically, many movies depict the Hoover Dam hiding interdimensional technology. So the Hoover Dam also has these fallen angel statues, these fucking strange fallen angel statues on it. Very strange. That looks straight up like some angel shit. But it's definitely not what we think it is. So right here, the Hoover Dam holds the Allspark in the movie Transformers, a cosmic cube that turns any electronic to life. Megatron was frozen in the Hoover Dam.
Situation. You all had direct contact with the NBEs.
NBEs?
Man's an extortionist. All right, here's the situation. You've all had direct contact with the NBEs.
NBEs?
Non-biological extraterrestrials.
Non-biological extraterrestrials. That's what the researchers for the UFOs and the military call the aliens.
Can't keep up with the acronyms.
What you're about to see is totally classified.
Dear God, what is this?
We think when he made his approach over the North Pole, our gravitational field screwed up his telemetry. He crashed in the ice probably a few thousand years ago. We shipped him here to this facility in 1934. Call him NBE-1.
Well, sir, I don't mean to correct you on everything you think you know, but I mean, that's Megatron. He's the leader of the Decepticons.
He's been in cryostasis since 1935. Your great-great-grandfather made one of the greatest discoveries in the history of mankind. Fact is, you're looking at the source of the modern age. Microchip, lasers, space flight, cars, all reverse engineered by studying him. NVE-1. That's what we call it.
And you didn't think the United States military might need to know that you're keeping a hostile alien robot frozen in the basement?
Until these events, we had no credible threat to national security.
Well, you got one now.
So why Earth?
It's the Allspark.
Allspark? What is that?
Well, yeah, they came here looking for some sort of cube-looking thing. Anyway, Mr. NBE-1 here, a.k.a. Megatron, that's what they call him, he's pretty much the harbinger of death, wants to use the cube to transform human technology to take over the universe. That's their plan.
You sure about that?
Yeah. You guys know where it is, don't you?
Remember, these movies always give us a little bit of details. In all of Hollywood, they put all their little fine pieces together for us to figure out. Well. I'm gonna have to do some more research on the Hoover Dam and the symbology, what references there have been. But let's go on. Lockheed Martin has a craft that can reach Mars in just a few hours, says Jason Giorgiani, right here in this interview.
What they have at JPL, how do you know they have?
We have in Lockheed right now, there are craft that can go to Mars in a few hours, right now in Lockheed.
So how do you know what they have at JPL? How do you know they have?
Not JPL, Lockheed.
Lockheed. How do you know that Lockheed has this technology that we can get to Mars in a couple hours?
Lockheed has, I think, some assets in Nevada, but they have a lot of corporate facilities in California, in the state of California. And supposedly there is this shack on the side of a highway in California that looks like some nondescript warehouse, small warehouse. And you go into this warehouse and the whole floor of the warehouse is an elevator. And it drops, Lord knows how many hundreds of feet. And you're inside of a, basically a facility carved out of rock, deep underground.
Yeah.
And not only reverse engineering craft from retrieved debris in this facility, but they're actually training pilots to fly them. And he told me that the main problem that they have in that training program is that the pilots experience extreme disorientation because of the warping of space-time by these craft. In other words, they discovered early on, and this is, I think, one of the main reasons, and we can get into this in much more depth if you want. This is one of the main reasons this technology is being hidden, because they discovered very early on that these are not simply devices with propulsion systems capable of navigating space very quickly. Like they can take you from New York to Australia and, right? They're flying time machines. They warp time as they traverse space.
Right.
And our pilots don't know how to handle that. They have a very hard time. They get disoriented, temporally disoriented. They get their sense of the passage of time gets really messed with. So anyway, he told me he went down into this facility and that they're reverse engineering stuff and that they're trying to train pilots in how to fly these reverse engineered zero-point energy craft. But okay, what's the really important thing about that is that on a theoretical level about how UFOs are actually time machines. And if you really stop and think through that carefully, you realize why, under the current socio-political conditions, this technology can't be released. With the kind of society we have, domestically, globally, with the state that humanity is in at the present time, the release of that kind of technology into the public sphere would be utterly catastrophic. Right? I mean, you can't give Tom, Dick, and Harry a time machine to put in their garage. You see, that's the thing. It's not like these are Jetsons cars that just, fly you across country really fast. They allow you to traverse different epochs in human history. And I think one of the reasons that our history is so messed up, when you look at these really regressive, tyrannical religious belief systems and the kinds of political structures that formed around them and that were fortified by them, I think a lot of what's going on there is that our timeline has been manipulated. It's been manipulated at all junctures, from the present far into the future.
Reminds me of the movie or the show, The Man in the High Castle, where the Nazis built like this time machine, and they were like going and messing with different timelines. I mean, in a sense too, I would expect if people could go back in time, then anything that they change would change the future, right? I don't know. The next conspiracy theory, guys, right here. There's, I don't know, this is wild, but people think that Netanyahu is dead. People think Netanyahu is dead. I don't know. No idea. But there's a lot of stuff going on. There's a lot of stuff going on. A lot of oil being hit. A lot of centers and manufacturing places that should not be hit. This is not good for our economic system. What's going on in the Middle East? This is really not going good. Israel played a hand that they shouldn't have played, and now they're fucking everything up for the whole world. We could see a second recession or a second depression. Maybe both. Maybe we have something even worse. And for what happened just in the last 24 hours, the daughters of one of the cabinet members or leader members, she spoke out earlier this week or like last week about the abuse that she was experiencing from her Israeli family, and then now she's dead. It's just kind of fucked up. It shouldn't be like this. But I mean, that's how they treat their own people over there on that side, I guess, right? Well, to finish off tonight, guys, right here, look at this. This is how Chinese kindergartens teach their kids.
Did you know there is a kindergarten in China? And the reason for it will surprise you. In China, children as young as 3 and 4 years old perform tasks we would normally only expect from adults. They wash clothes, cook, and clean. Each child has their own small outdoor stove, perfectly sized for them, where they prepare their daily meals. After that, they line up to wash their dishes and then move on to making baskets, knitting scarves, or even sewing clothes on child-friendly sewing machines. They squeeze fresh fruit from start to finish, practice clay modeling, draw, create decorations, and solve puzzles. The girls can even try out the hairdressing area, giving them an advantage as future stylists. This hands-on approach keeps the children excited to return every day, eager to see what they will do next. In China, they believe that educating is not just teaching letters, but teaching how to live. Do you think this type of education could be adopted in your country, or would it be too harsh for children? If you're not following, you'll probably never see us again. But if you are, then congratulations, you're growing every day.
Man, I personally think that all of our schooling systems should be raised on skill-based learning and not whatever the fuck it's taught here in America. Who knows what they're teaching dumb shit to kids, and they're teaching high schoolers and college people you can be whatever the fuck gender you want, and even middle schoolers they're teaching kids you could be a fucking cat, a dog. You want to be a dog, you can be a dog today. You want to be a squirrel, you can be a squirrel. Dude, get the fuck out of here with that shit. China wouldn't allow that shit. Neither a lot of countries don't allow that shit. What am I talking about? Like 90% of the world don't allow that shit to their children, except this dumbass country. Man, I try to end on a good note. Anyways, the good note is save the children. Yo, man, I really hope that we as a country do better in our future to help our younger generations thrive and learn, and even our older generations thrive and be stronger. I got out of this fucking Twitter page for some reason. Hold on, give me a second. I'll just do the old school one. Wait, bam. Hey, well, that is it for tonight, guys. Hope that you guys have a great evening wherever you guys are. Well, it's already midnight for some of you guys. It's already a whole nother day. I'll catch up to you tomorrow in whatever day you're in. So, yeah, most of my listeners are gonna be listening in the next day. So, fucking enjoy your day wherever you are. Be blessed. Be high. See you guys next time on the 5 and 9 Divine Pines podcast. Peace. I love y'all.